Hello, everyone. We are students at Quinnipiac University. My name is Sarah Springer, and I'm the Executive Director for QTHON 2025.
Hi, my name is Grace Flanagan. I'm the Director of Finance for QTHON 2025.
So we're going to be presenting today on Quinnipiac's quality over quantity approach. So just a little bit of a background, what our problem kind of was in previous years was that our fundraising numbers following COVID-19 had decreased steadily, and we needed to find a way to bring these numbers back up. So last year, when our group of directors attended formerly DMLC and learned about the sprint model, they decided that this was something that they wanted to implement in order to increase our numbers and kind of increase the engagement of our program in general.
With the sprint model, we decided to focus on a lower amount of quality events rather than more tabling and smaller events that had less attendees. This increased engagement across our bigger events, and this also allowed management to have more fun with the process and less burnout because we weren't planning as many events. Our first large event of the year was Child Health Day on the national holiday of Child Health Day. And so we were not actively recruiting during this time. So it was a great way to promote QTHON without fundraising, just getting our name around campus. This was during the foundation sprint. We had free entry, some free food. It was an internal push day, internal team. So that was management as well as committee members. And so we had incentives for top fundraisers, which I'll get more into more later. The event counted as Panhellenic credit to encourage sororities to get there. And we had a mental health speaker come that connected with college students, and it was a brand that was really well known on our campus. So that brought a lot of students in, just wanting to meet them and wanting to be able to shop because we had the vendor there, small crafts and activities. And we had a fundraising goal of the day of $88 in honor of the 88 behavioral health patients that come through Connecticut Children's Emergency Department every 2 weeks, but I'll get into that later. But the event was super nice, and a lot of people connected over the mental health subject and shared their own stories after the Here For You stopped presenting. And so we think that that really brought a lot of people in because we weren't pressuring people to fundraise or even register for QTHON yet. It was just a fun night to meet everybody.
So our next larger quality event that we're going to be talking about is Battle of the Orgs, or Battle of the Eras as we called it. This was during our activation sprint during our spring semester, and it was a 2-week competition which included virtual and in-person challenges for teams to participate in each day and win miracle points. Our main event theme was Taylor Swift Eras Tour themed, which is why we called it Battle of the Eras, and all of our events for the 2 weeks were also Taylor Swift themed. This pop culture kind of theme engaged and involved participants a lot just because, of course, Taylor Swift is so popular now. And all of our days had themes and kind of things based off of her music and things like that. So, for example, some of our daily events were Knew You Were Trouble Tuesday, which was a Wordle on Instagram. This is an example of one of our virtual events. Then we had Fearless Friday, where we had many small businesses come and tickets were given to each person who purchased an item, which went toward team attendance. We had Make the Friendship Bracelets Monday, which was a bracelet making event. All Too Well Wednesday was a raffle basket event, so that you can see that in the photo right there. We had raffle baskets for each era, and people could enter those raffles by buying raffle tickets, and those were super successful as well. One of the differences between this year during our Battle of the Orgs between years prior is that in the past, many of our events weren't based on a specific theme. So, of course, this specific theme was Taylor Swift, but in the past, we've had more events just like a Facebook fundraiser day or a Color Wars day where students of each organization would wear their team's color, or just kind of table check-in days. So it wasn't something specific to a specific theme, and this is why we think it was so successful this year. We also had an incentive of the most involved organization being awarded a Miracle Child for Day of, which was a super valuable incentive, of course, and something that definitely encouraged people to participate. Kind of going off of this is our Minutes for Miracles event, which took place during Battle of the Orgs. It's an event hosted on our biggest fundraising push day of the year, which is Day of Miracles. And this event consisted of relay challenges focused on winning miracle points for your team and your organization. Again, this was also Taylor Swift themed to carry on that kind of trend. we had our games sort of focused on that. So we had one called Paper Rings, which was carrying a bow with a spatula. Hungry Hungry Swifties, which was like Hungry Hungry Hippos. It was a super fun game. And then our finale round for our two finalists was the Swifty Serenade, where it was like a finish the lyrics kind of thing and race to do that. So it was super cool. Definitely had people super involved in that just because of the pop culture aspect of it. And then just a couple other things about Minutes for Miracles. It was a free entry event, which definitely helped to increase the amount of students that did attend the event. We had our morale committee dance, which allowed them to showcase a minute or two of the dance that they were going to be performing at day of. We had free snacks and food for everyone, which we received through our sponsorship chair. And then we also had those raffle baskets at day of, and the winners announced there. And then the winning org for Minutes for Miracles also received a Miracle Child. So during that week, we had two Miracle Children awarded for that as well. So then we're going to be going into increased recruitment and engagement. So this is kind of another little category here. So to start here, one of the things that we did, this was one of the main changes that we implemented, was our shortened event time. So when the sprint model was first introduced at DMLC last year, they showed a 6-hour and a 12-hour timeline, with our goal being increased engagement during the event. And we chose to do the 6-hour model because of this. So we changed the event time from 8 hours to 6 hours. In the past, even before COVID, we had 10-hour events and longer events, but we decided to change this to the 6-hour event and use that kind of template that they had given. Attendance did increase throughout the event, and it didn't lead to a decrease in fundraising, even though the time was shorter. So as you can see below, in 2024, within our 6 hours, we raised over $10,000, whereas in 2023, we raised below $10,000, and it was still 2 extra hours. So this proved to be successful for us and definitely in our favor, and something that we're going to continue and improve it in the next coming years. So next, active recruiting is something that we focused on as well. This was during our recruitment sprint. We first recruited team captains, and this definitely helped with later recruitment pushes because we had more people educated and able to share information with people that had questions or with the organizations they were involved in and everything like that. We readjusted our recruitment timeline from previous years by starting active recruiting later than usual. So we started during the second week of November rather than in the summer and the early fall. And this is something that we were unsure about at the beginning, but decided that it was something that we had to try. And again, this is something that worked in our favor as well. We also reached out directly to athletic teams and organizations that had low participation in the past, and we did that through email. And then if we didn't hear back from them, we contacted them again through Instagram or through another method. And this is just a way that we were able to actively push for engagement instead of passively hoping people would sign up. Another way that we actively recruited was during registration week. So again, this was the first week that registration was open. We had management tabling every day in the student center from about 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this is an example of something that we saved tabling for. So because we talked about the quality events earlier on, and we mentioned that we didn't do as much tabling in smaller events, that was something that we kind of saved for important weeks like this. So we did do tabling during registration week. We had registration $7 all week, but had discount hours mixed in for registration. So we did have many $0 hours, which definitely helped us to increase registration, but it may have impacted fundraising because after seeing the results from last year, we had more $0 dancers as a result of these discount hours. So something that we might want to change in the future is to still have these discount hours because they definitely encouraged registration and more participants, but maybe not bringing it all the way down to $0 and rather making it $3 or $5 or something like that. We also used many cause connection numbers in more events than just this. One example is listed here on the screen from 10 a.m. to 12:11 p.m. That's 131 minutes. So we use those 131 minutes for free registration, which represented the 131,000 patients treated at Connecticut Children's in 2023. And these cause connection numbers are just super important for our participants to be able to connect with. 200 was our goal for registration for this year, and we hit 552 participants during this week, just registered during that week. So it was super cool to see how this paid off for us. We also gave away gift cards, t-shirts, pins, and things like that during the week to random people that had registered. We had events at night, like a trivia night that we collaborated with our student programming board. We had a spin class that I taught and a Pilates class by another fitness instructor. And we had raffles during those classes, as well as gift bags for everyone that attended. We had a Tag a Friend Tuesday, which was on the Instagram, and it was kind of just a way to spread the word about registering through social media. And then we had a Flame Friday, which was giving out s'mores kits to anyone that had registered for QTHON already. So this graph right here shows our QTHON participant recruitment through the years, starting in 2018 and ending, of course, this year. So you can see that we recruited more participants in 2024 than before 2020. COVID, of course, was announced in 2020, just a couple weeks before our main event. And as a result, the team wasn't able to get the last minute push for recruitment and the last minute fundraising as they had in the previous year. So as you can see, since then it declined. So that's why we knew that we needed to increase it again this year. You can see on the far left is a photo from 2020 when we had our main event virtually. So that's just kind of a little representation of the data, and you can see how it helped and increased this past year. A little bit more here on our consistent, transparent communication with team captains. So of course, team captains are the link between the internal team and the other 90% of participants and fundraisers, which is why they're so incredibly important. By having this constant communication with the team captains, this helped us to spread information and awareness about events and increase engagement in those as well. Meetings with our team captains were more often in the first semester, where we had more introductory information, setting up donor drive with our peer-to-peer fundraising chairs, fundraising education, cause-based education, and just kind of general timeline information of the year. Whereas in the second semester, they were more limited and we had more information before large events, like the ones we talked about previously, to share incentives, goals, dates, and times that they could share with their teams in order to increase involvement in their individual organizations and as a whole. We had a lot of email communication as well, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on as well. But prior to larger events, breaks, meetings, was our way to share information with team captains. And again, that was our link to the rest of the participants as well. And something super cool that came out of this was that 3 of our team captains from last year are now on our management team for 2025. And it just kind of shows how they felt connected to our organization by being a team captain and how they appreciated that communication that we gave them. And here on this next slide, we have a statement from Maria, who was the team captain for the pre-PA club last year. She was a participant in our sorority during her freshman year in 2023, and she's now on our 2025 management team, and she's our campus relations chair. So definitely take the time to pause and you can read her entire statement if you feel you want to, but just a general summary. Her statement expresses her thoughts on how effective our communication style with the team captains was this past year and how that made her want to grow her involvement in our organization.
Okay, so to move on to fundraising, as we said at the beginning, we really struggled post-COVID with decreased fundraising numbers. So in an effort to get back to pre-COVID numbers, we really leaned into the sprint model with fundraising. In the past, we struggled with getting people to fundraise earlier in the year. It's like asking people to register and fundraise from the beginning of the year was very difficult. And we learned that a large percentage of all fundraising was done in the last month before our event, with an even larger percentage being done in the last 2 weeks before our event. So this year, we decided to prepare more for that. We put more stress on management fundraising from the beginning of the year, as well as committees who are part of our internal team. And then we used our large push days and events and winter and March fundraising to get the rest of the community fundraising. So we, as I said, had a large focus on internal team fundraising. We had an expectation for management summer fundraising of $250 from each of our members. Just to get the ball rolling. This was much more than we had done in 2023 when I looked at the numbers. And then something that I think was really huge for us, especially with our management team, as well as our morale committee specifically, which is our largest committee by far out of our 3 committees, was increasing just implementing our fundraising minimums. So these are like expectations for what you should fundraise and just set a precedent of what we should be going for. So we increased it to $1,500 for management, $500 for committee members, and $250 for team captains. So as I said, this works really well for management and morale committee specifically. So just for some comparisons, in QTHON 2023, the management team as a whole raised $36,014. And for QTHON 2024, we raised $48,282. And then the morale committee for QTHON 2022 raised $8,844. And the morale committee of this year's QTHON raised almost double that at $15,550. And then as well for the internal team, as well as the whole community, we made fundraising toolkits for different seasons, including summer in the beginning for management, winter fundraising, having a winter fundraising goal connected to a cause connection number, as well as different fundraising ideas for the winter, monthly fundraising templates that people could post on Facebook, texts, emails, even specific alumni fundraising ideas as well as that, and a donor drive guide, which was basically us presenting to committees and team captains at the beginning of the year to help them build a base of personalizing their donor drive pages, setting their goals, personalizing their stories, so they had a good base of best practice to go into the winter and the spring with. Okay, so as we talked about earlier with our quality programming, we also connected our fundraising a lot to those events. So while internal team fundraising was emphasized all year, the general participants fundraising was truly emphasized mostly during our push days. So we had two large push days, and these were Child Health Day in October and Day of Miracles in February. Child Health Day was an internal team push day, and Day of Miracles was our largest push day involving the entire Quinnipiac community. So, for social media usage, we found this to be really helpful, especially for Day of Miracles. We made a really detailed plan of pre-Day of Miracles social media, of what day we would reveal different things. So we revealed the team fundraising incentives for Day of Miracles the day before in social media to get people excited. On the Day of Miracles morning, we posted about the individual fundraising goal, ideas to help people fundraise, people to send the fundraising templates to, and then we had a post for every push hour that we did, and we had a post for raffle baskets that we also had throughout the day. We prepared for probably since December for different resources to send out to everybody for Day of Miracles. So we had specific Day of Miracles templates, Instagram bingo boards, and then a toolkit for Day of Miracles, which talked about which kind of combined everything together, fundraising strategies as well as what the day was going to look like. For emails, we sent emails to committees and team captains at 8 a.m. that day with the toolkits and the templates to get them ready to send out to everybody. And then the finance team did get together to text individuals that night. We only texted people on Day of Miracles, but we want to do it again because we did receive positive feedback. We texted anybody that raised $1 or more on Day of Miracles, as well as those that reached their goal, congratulating them. And people seem to really appreciate that, and I do want to implement that with the finance team this year. So all of this helped allow the most amount of people since COVID, over 60 people, to reach our fundraising goal of $72 for the day on Day of Miracles, and to have the highest fundraising push day we've had on Day of Miracles since COVID. So I will get more into the goals on the next slide, but Child Health Day this year raised over $10,000 across the course of that week versus $7,500 the year previous across the whole week. And then Day of Miracles 2024, we hit our highest push day at $15,733. Okay, so to touch more on in-event goals and incentives. For the fundraising push days on Child Health Day and Day of Miracles, we've had a cause connection individual fundraising goal with incentives to reach that goal and team fundraising incentives as well. So for Child Health Day, the individual fundraising goal was $88 for the 88 behavioral health patients that enter Connecticut Children's Emergency Department every 2 weeks. We did not have team fundraising goals at that time because this was just for management and committee members. For Day of Miracles, which is our larger one, we had prepared for more and just expected more out of. So Day of Miracles, the individual goal was $72 on that day for the 72 patients that enter a Children's Miracle Network hospital every minute. We also had a special goal for seniors that year of $124, where they would earn free QTHON grad cords. We had team prizes on Day of Miracles with the top fundraising team of the day winning a miracle child, second place winning a pizza party, and third place winning miracle points, which helps them earn a miracle child. We did also have specific push hours based on smaller cause connection numbers. So if people raise that amount in the hour, they are entered to win like certain gift cards and things like that, which really helped because we saw it helped encourage people to fundraise during those hours. And I think it helped people to reach that $72 goal. And then just to touch on the importance of social media after Day of Miracles and Child Health Day, we posted people that raised the individual goal. We highlighted teams that did really well. And I think, nobody minds recognition on social media. It's nice and it feels good. So I think that shout out really turned to be like get people to fundraise more just because they wanted to see their name on that list of people that fundraise the goal. And then just to show you a graph of our fundraising over time, to show you what we're talking about. So as you can see, we did take a large hit due to COVID in our fundraising. And from 2020, we had 4 years of decline in fundraising overall. And this year was the first year that we had an increase, going from $103,000 QTHON 2023 to $140,000 in QTHON 2024. So we are still below pre-COVID fundraising numbers, but we are changing the trend and are very excited to get it back up to what it used to be.
So we have just one more category here to talk about our application number increase. So because of the changes we made this year, we were able to improve participant experience and engagement in order to lead us to the most applications for leadership that we have seen post-COVID. So this year we received 32 applicants for management, which was incredible for us compared to many large schools and dance marathons. This might not seem like a large number, but for a small school like Quinnipiac, we have an undergraduate population of 7,000 people and not a huge dance marathon. So it was incredible for us to see that many people. For many years prior, QTHON has even struggled to get new applicants and has had to reach out to possible candidates through email to apply. This year, we even expanded our team by 2 people this year in order to grow in areas that we saw could benefit our program this year, which was super exciting as well. And we're so excited to have seen this interest, and we hope in the next coming years to increase this even more and to show people what QTHON is really about and how exciting it is to be involved.
Okay, so Ella is a great example of this. She is our current director of operations. She's been involved in QTHON all of her years at Quinnipiac. So she was a participant her first year on her sorority as a top fundraiser, and then she was a team captain her sophomore year, and then she was a member of our morale committee and our comma club this past QTHON, and then now she is on our team of directors. So you can again pause to read her statement, but she indicates that being more involved as a committee member, she was able to feel the team atmosphere and knew she wanted more, and that's why she decided to apply for management.
So thank you so much to all of you who have listened to this. Please, please, please contact us if you have any additional questions at all, and we would absolutely love to hear from you and answer those questions. We hope that you got something out of this presentation and are able to take some things back to your dance marathons. And we're so excited to see you this year at Ignite. So thank you so much. And please feel free to contact us.